Okay. So welcome on down, Amy and Laura. Yay! Okay, so ladies, we are here to share with you part of a party. Now, Amy and I spent some time together, as we do. We do often see each other quite often. I have moved, so we're about 40 minutes away, which is a little bit devastating. Yeah. But together we've been able to sit down and work out. Amy is going to share a party with you a little bit later on. Now, what we want to do in the party is to concentrate on the bookings, recruiting, and also the sales section. So we want to do a lot of styling in this part here, just to separate it, and that means you can concentrate and focus on both separately. Probably more for my benefit than everybody else's, because I need to concentrate like that. So what we decided to do is, when Amy was sharing with me what she does at a party, there's real specific things that she purchases in her Rich Reward Club, in her gift vouchers that she wins from Park Lane, and again, if she does a mystery host on her VIP page, she's obviously got there's some things that she can spend as well. So with all that and collecting, building your kit, there can be some things that you purchase that will bring a little bit of value into your kit, but there's also some items in your kit that will bring a lot of value. And a lot of those items are things that have 2, 3 or 4 colours, and a lot of those items will mean that you can style at a party and use that same styling box for the very next party, and everyone still feels like they've had a completely different experience. So in doing so, we've come up with a chart. I'll just get it around. No, we'll do that after. We'll just hold it down here so it's easier to see for the video. So we have done a chart for you guys, which we'll share with you a little bit later, and I'll explain that towards the end. But I do want Amy to share with you just some of the things. I'm just going to bounce between each other what we do, and I do a lot of this myself, and it also includes what you wear to your party. Yeah. So Amy is wearing an item that is close to $200. I'm wearing a host-only item and an item over $200. So these things are really important to turn up to your party. When you guys turned up today, and I know it's a little bit different because you're not trying to recruit or sell to either all of us or any of us, that might make a bit different, but did you choose the items that you're wearing based on your outfit or based on booking, recruiting, and also selling? Whether you're going to the pub, to the shops, or when you're going to a party. Are you choosing items for your business to make your business bigger and better? So that's really important as well. It might look cuter having something different, but it also is important to choose things to book, sell, and recruit at your parties, and to, creatively do that as well. So, would you like to share with us just some things? You might have to just bring them over as you go along.
Okay, so ladies, so the way that I generally work my trays is I have 4 trays. I do a rose gold, a silver, a gold, and a hematite or mixed metal tray if you like. And there is a bit of method to the madness when I actually create these trays to see what I actually put inside these. So each time I'm deciding what goes in, I'm obviously thinking of our 2 and 4 customer sale offer, because some people are just rose gold lovers, some people are just silver lovers. So I'm trying to fulfill the customer sales side of it as well. I'm also looking for hostess only items in each of my trays, because I obviously, if someone comes to the rose gold section, if I've got something in there that's host only, obviously that's going to benefit me long term as well. And I generally go with all different concepts. So say say for an argument's sake for necklaces, so when I do my styling side of it, I like to show in each tray a different style of, say, necklace. So in the rose gold, in each tray I'll have a small necklace. Okay, so I'll have a small rose gold, a small gold, it's obviously different, not the same necklace. And then I'll have a layering necklace, because I love to show that how versatile the Park Lane jewellery pieces are. So you really want people to see that, wow, I can mix and match that. I can wear that so many different ways. So they really getting value for money. Then obviously, as I said, a hostess only or a longer style. So some people prefer these smaller dainty necklaces. Some people prefer a longer drop necklace. And that gives me the opportunity then to say longer necklaces make us, elongate us, make us look taller and thinner. So I'm trying to cover all bases. Now, each time I go through each tray, so I'll do each metal tray, And what will happen is I'll show a different one. So say in the rose gold, I might talk about layering. So when I go to the silver tray, I'm not going to talk about layering with the silver tray because I've already showed something that is super versatile. Okay, so I would then essentially put a 2 and 4 sale together offer based on my rose gold tray, but then I'd go to my next tray, which is the gold tray, and I would do the same, but I would show a longer necklace. Okay? Instead of actually showing the shorter tray.
So then at the next party that you do, you generally have an idea of what you showed at the last party. So the next party, instead of showing the layered necklace, Amy would then probably go do a dainty necklace in the rose gold section. So the trays are the same, but the party completely changes every time.
Because I'm showing the look is different every time.
Yeah, so that means that you're not continuously trying to find new things for your parties, and you're not investing wasteful money. You're investing money that you're investing it once pretty much, because it's the same constantly.
Yeah.
And it takes time. Like you might just go, okay, I'm going to focus on the rose gold tray. Do that first. Okay, then when you get your next rich reward, which is your goal and your aim, then you do the next tray. So you're not feeling like you have to have everything all today.
Yeah. And it also helps because when you first start, obviously we have a great deal when you get your $1,000 worth of jewelry. You're just mindful when you first start that you don't have to have everything, and don't think because you've been to one styling that you like, oh my God, I've already shown that. Like, people have seen that probably 3 or 4 times, but I'm not necessarily showing the same necklace in the rose gold tray at every single styling. So it just helps, I might be doing 3 and 4 parties on one weekend. I'm not going to sit there and change every single party and change all my necklaces. Like, I'd just be there forever doing that. So I try and just use the necklaces based on that. I also have a different range of bracelets. Now, I generally do arm stacks in each of the metal colours. So I'll have a rose gold arm stack, a silver arm stack, and a gold. And when I put these together, again, it's a bit strategic in the sense of I'm wanting to show Park Lane's how different the Park Lane jewellery pieces are, and depending on the style of bracelet you like, we've got something for each person. So rather than me show every single bracelet, I might even, when I'm dressing somebody, I'll put the arm stack on, and I might put a stretchy style bracelet on them with an open cuff to show them that we've got a different style of open cuff. Then I'll show them that we've got a hostess only, like a bangle, because some people prefer that. So I do try and take that into consideration when I'm showing pieces, because not everyone likes a big chunky bangle like this. Some people are a real dainty jewelry lover. So I do try when I actually do the arm stacks that there's variety in the bangles. They're not just all the same. You'll find that none of these bracelets are the same on all of them. I try to go with different ones for each one.
And just a little hint that I like to do, a lot of people who I've got chunky wrists, and our jewelry fits my wrist, all of it pretty much. So I try in the audience to find someone with chunky wrists. I don't go, who's got chunky wrists? Like that. Don't do that. You can say who's got skinny wrists. People like that, but who's got chunky wrists is kind of a little bit offensive. So I don't say that, but I kind of generally have a little scan, and I find someone who probably has wrists my size, maybe a little bit smaller, so it's a guarantee and it's not awkward. But I do usually use them as my arm model, which means that say, see, well, I don't say, see, look, your wrists look perfect and that, but they will tell you as you're coming up, they're like, that's not going to fit me. I'm like,
yeah, you get that every time.
I'm like, you know what? If it doesn't fit you, I'll show you something else that will fit, so you can kind of play around with it as long as they're not, falling apart. But once you put it on, they're like so excited that they actually can fit something, and that's the person that's going to buy all the bracelets and absolutely everything. Yeah. So can I just share a few things?
Yeah.
We said we're going to just work it out when we get there. Well, we knew what we were talking about, but just kind of play around. So Amy will do a full styling session in the party, but these are definitely the colours that she puts through: the rose gold, the gold, the silver, a coloured tray or a black and white. Can I get you to pass me the little stand with the dotty earrings? Yeah. So I found this the other day. I was so excited. Go to Kmart, all of our best friends.
Kmart is the best.
So this is an opportunity just to share with you, ladies, some items of jewellery. This is what happens to me. I usually like to put a disclaimer and stop things before they happen at the party and kind of put a dampen. Someone might say to me, does that ballerina necklace come in gold? I'm like, no, sorry, it only comes in rose gold. Now, the way I get around that is from the start say, ladies, you may find some things in the catalogue that you love, but it doesn't come in your colour. Now, Park Lane are very fantastic and very up to date with their styling and what's popular. Sometimes the item of jewellery will not look good in the other colour. So just keep that in mind, that Park Lane, will always look after our styling, and they won't put something in a colour that it doesn't suit. So, just to give you a heads up, something like the dotty earrings come in all 4 colours so you can see what the colours look like. These are one of our $22 items. And then that way, throughout the whole party, when someone says that, you've probably all heard it. Does that come in gold? And you're like, no, like it just, you feel bad, but you shouldn't feel bad because you're doing them a favour because it's ugly in gold. Whatever it is, it's, you can kind of put it that way. So I did find these stands for $6 that came out the other day, and I was so excited. I was like, thank you, these.
The little clips come, they come with these little cards that just some little
in the frame section.
Cards. And we've just put a section here.
Okay, so we're not selling $6 Kmart stands. We're going to move on to the next section. I'm not going to share a few other things with the girls.
I think this is really good as well because sometimes I don't know if you guys can relate, but when you're at the party, sometimes they'll be like, oh, what can I pick as my second cheapest item? They find something and then they get quite frazzled because there's so much to choose from. Mm. So even just something like this, I always say it's a necessity for your jewellery wardrobe. You have that one necklace, have you got a pair of earrings to go with it? I promise these will tick all the boxes. Mm. So even having something like this on display allows them to quickly choose because, we're mindful of people's time and our time as well. You don't want to be with someone for half an hour and potentially lose out on talking to everyone else and people have to leave. So things like this are really good visuals to say, do you like any of these? Because we can add this as one of your least expensive full price items. Okay,
that's a good idea. Okay, so I'm just going to share just a couple more tips, and then we can finish up, and then when Amy does her party, you can see everything else in there. Now, throughout our parties also, you'll see that I generally do a costume change 2 or 3 times. I never turn up with what I'm wearing, and so I have changed outfit. Now, you've noticed I went from a hostess only item to what? A really expensive item. Yeah, so I continue to keep putting on items that are high end because as the party goes along, we're getting closer to choosing our $27 item. I want to make sure that they're investing in, purchasing items so then they get that option to do so. The only way to do that is when they say, oh my God, I love that necklace. Well, I've got that for you later. When we sit down, we'll talk about it. Okay, so you can do things like that. I always keep on an impressions bracelet that never comes off. And then I may change my earrings while I'm there. I do have wipes, so I wipe everything down and let everyone know that. So I take some earrings out and I pop maybe 2 of the bumbles, and I have them sitting with me, and then I can you can change them around. So I'm always constantly changing jewelry. I won't put my dotty earrings in or my whisper earrings. I'm not going to do that. Like that's that means that you're you're selling things that are the cheaper items. You want to up the price and put things on because I'm sorry, but who's now wants to buy this?
Yeah, I do.
Yeah, and I'm like, got you, girl. Like I'm watching. Like the minute I change something, put something on, I am scanning that room and making sure where my sales are coming from this item of jewelry. So make sure that you're consciously picking things in your kit to do so. Now, just to explain this, because we will hand this out a little bit later, there's no point sitting down and researching it all now, but I do want to explain this so then you guys can go through this after. Keep this fresh and maybe photocopy it a few times, or I have it I can send to you. But I've done one up here with Amy's hints and tips, and then you've got one that you can kind of start putting together your own wish list. So what it is silver gold, rose gold, hematite, multicolour. And I've popped up there, 4 styles of necklaces: long, statement, layering, and dainty. Yeah. And then we've put some items on here that are part of that collection. So we've kind of done our own, but you can then choose which ones you want. Anything that's bold and highlighted means that it comes in more than one colour. Okay, so if I was to put together, say for example, the necklaces, and I was looking for a gold necklace and it had to be dainty, I've got the, So I've got the Chalice, the Hot Mess, the Kingsley, and the Tide. Out of all those necklaces, I'm actually going to pick the Tide first to add to my collection because that Tide necklace also comes in silver. Does that make sense? So all of a sudden, I have doubled my kit without having double the product. Same with the bracelets. I know a classic one here, Arm Party. Here we go. We have the jewel. So I've got written here the jewel. It's highlighted. we know that that comes in 3 colours. So I would add that to the collection before I add the Clayton. The Clayton is a cuff in 1 colour. Okay, so we're going to, instead of having 1 cuff in 1 colour, we're going to add the jewel instead. Okay, that jewel then comes in 4 colours. We have now added so much more value to our kit. 3 colours. 4 colours.
3 colours.
3.
Yeah,
3.
3, yeah.
Because it looks ugly in hematite. See?
Yeah.
Told you. We don't know, but let's just say that.
And we will email all this to Rebel.
Yeah, so you guys will get all that. So then we also have packs of 6 earrings because we use them in our $50 vouchers. So that's really important to add to your kit. Items between $120 and $200 to activate the bonus item. Items between $20 and $40. Don't just offer $20 items in the 2 cheaper ones. It's really important, like the 2 cheaper, the least expensive, you know. Think about your word choices. I just said it then, I might pull myself up on it. So your least expensive items can be $40 items and 20. And then we've got host only exclusive. I always try and walk into a party with a host only exclusive. That's my first impression. What I want from a party is more bookings. The arm party, you've got the different types. Designer inspired, okay, making sure you know which is designer inspired. Statement earrings and statement rings, okay, so they're also really important to add to your collection. So the list is there. You can play around to make your own list, but I think it's really important to start to put together a visual plan of your of what you want in your kit. I know when I joined, I was just like, I love it, I love it, I love it, and just got all these things. I was like, oh, nothing makes sense. Okay, so thank you so much, Amy, because when Amy did this, I was just like, this actually needs to be a whole session on its own, Amy.
Yeah.
And it really makes a lot of sense, and I think you've always put value into your kit and also your parties. Your customers get a different deal every time that you turn up.
Yeah.
So well done.
Thank you.
Thank you.